Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Go check out my website, skyazrael.com, if you're interested in life coaching and mentoring. Let's get into today's topic. I talked about rejection the other day, but what I did not mention in that conversation was abandonment, being abandoned. It's similar, but not the exact same thing. You can be rejected, but being abandoned, that hurts more. You know why? Because being abandoned is when you're rejected in need. At least that's the way I define it. You think of an abandoned baby, an abandoned pet. When you're abandoned, you maybe need help, assistance. And somebody runs off on you, disappears, leaves you high and dry. Rejects you at the worst possible time, the time that it hurts the most. You can be rejected, and it's not really abandonment. Strong people get rejected, and they can just laugh it off. Rejection is going to happen for your whole life, but abandonment doesn't have to happen. Abandonment happens when one person is weak. The abandoned is weak and needy. I'm not trying to blame the person who's been abandoned. I'm not blaming the baby for being abandoned. It's not the baby's fault. It may not be your fault that you're in a weakened state. But we can learn lessons from this and make sure that it never happens again. I feel sorry for people that experience abandonment, very traumatic abandonment at a young age. Because that shit gets pre-wired into your brain and you end up with what's called abandonment issues. You're pre-wired for abandonment. You're walking around in this wounded state. A lot of people that have this problem, their brain just basically just shuts down in certain areas and they develop coping mechanisms, which are typically unhealthy, self-destructive. These coping mechanisms are simply just designed to mask, give the abandoned an escape from that pain around the trauma. However, when we escape the pain, we maybe don't feel it at the moment, but we don't heal it. You don't heal pain through escape. You got to rip the Band-Aid off of that wound. You got to go into it. It's going to hurt. That's why I talk so much about mind, body, and soul as a process of strengthening. Lifestyle management is a process of strengthening. Discipline isn't a self-punishment, it's a liberation because you're getting stronger every day. The stronger you get, the more freedom you have. Abandonment is such an interesting topic to me because, I think we've all gone through it at least once. Maybe it was as a kid. I have a best friend of mine who, like a lot of people, was tossed between mom and dad. Mom and dad broke up and he would spend some times with mom, live a couple years with mom, then bounce back to dad and do this thing. He did this for his whole life. And I know just from talking to him and knowing him for so long that he always felt abandoned by his mom. Being tossed from his dad's house, his dad saying, go live with your mom for a little bit. That didn't hurt as bad. It was when his mom said, I don't want you no more. Maybe she didn't say it in those words, but that's the way it was. That hurt. Because he wanted to be a part of that family. Why can't I be a part of this family? You guys don't want me in this family? And then he's forced to go live with his dad, a guy that he's not really vibing with, a lifestyle that he doesn't really enjoy. Everything, his friends are gone. It's lonely. It's boring. His dad is strict. His mom was cool. He just didn't get it. And this has been an issue for the guy his whole life. This abandonment issue. Not only has it just caused problems because he's held grudges against his own mother and has no relationship with his mother, hates her, which is unfortunate. But you walk around as a wounded bird, making decisions, guarding yourself, being overly protective, lashing out in ways, wounded animals always lash out when you get too close to their weakness. People who work in animal hospitals know this. A dog with a broken leg can bite you if you make the wrong move. And people walk around with this same mentality. These are abandonment issues. And we all have our own little story where we were, I hate to say needy, but in a time of need, could have used a hand out of some rough waters. Those waters are choppy and they're up to here. And just as that hand, we go to grab it, just as we reach it, the motherfucker pulls away and walks off. That's abandonment. It's interesting because you could be in an abusive relationship with somebody. And I kind of know what this is like, is to be in a really bad relationship with someone. And the abuse, it wasn't physical abuse. That happens. I tell you a funny story about, I guess it's not funny, I think it's funny, about physical abuse with a guy, but where his woman was beating him. But there's all kinds of abuse. There's mental abuse. And that's kind of what I was going through. And I was allowing it to happen because I was weak. I can justify it. Oh, well, I just didn't know any better back then. I was stupid, whatever. I was shacked up with the wrong chick, and it was a horrible relationship. And I didn't see the light and dump her like I should have. In fact, the abuse got worse, her treatment got worse, and one day she broke up with me. That's great. People in my corner were just like, oh, well, thank God, because you're such a simp, such a sucker, such a beta little loser, that you're gonna just continue with this chick who treats you like shit. What the hell's wrong with you? Thank God she dumped you. Oh, God. Set you free. Maybe now you can, but no, that's not the way I took it. I took it really hard. I look back on it and laugh. But at the time, I took it as such an abandonment. I was in such a weakened state, and leaving me hurt more than the abuse that she was delivering to me. I don't know if you can understand that. I could be in a bad relationship. It was being alone that was worse. Being left. Not just being alone, but being left. Watching the person walk away from you and leaving you as you need them is worse than just sitting there by yourself being like, well, I guess I'm alone now. It's such a stab in the heart. The trick with all this, to get over it, to make sure, let's say, to make sure that it never happens again. You'll never be abandoned again. Abandonment only happens once if you're lucky, if you're smart. And that's to become strong. Warrior strong. Warriors train every single day so they don't bleed in battle. The more you sweat now, the less you bleed later. You're not getting me to bleed anymore. All you'll see from me is sweat from here on out. Mind, body, and soul. It's just food for thought. Thanks for watching.